guys, I had a lot of questions about the file folders and how I made them. It is a printable that I got from TLC Creation. I'm not sure if they're still available, but this is what they look like. They were like index card size printables, the set. And so I took the digital picture and put it into a Word doc, and I layered them on top of each other. And so when I did that, then I was able to get a full sheet of each type that I wanted, and that's how I did this. And I cropped, like if it took 3 of the certain cards to make that, you can kind of see the line right there. And so I cropped out the beautiful ink that she had put into the digital print. I cropped them out after I noticed how it looked on there. And so and then once I layered it, I didn't want to stretch it. That's why I did copies, a couple of copies, instead of just stretching the picture. And so once you print it out, then I cut it out. Let's see here, where's my other hand? Oh well, you cut it out, and then I notched it with this. This is I saw a couple of different brands. This one I believe is EK, but this is the one I have. And if you look up notch and corner punch, you should be able to find it there. It is a little bit on the sensitive side. If you drop it, it'll pop apart, or if you try to punch too many pieces of paper. But at any rate, how you use this is it is going to cut out a notch just like that, and so I'm going to center that like that, and there it is. So and then after I had my notches, then I just went across right to where the notch, and this is the corner rounder. Actually, that's a small corner rounder. I actually prefer the large one on larger pieces, so I use this one here to do that. So do that, and then of course going back through with the vintage photo, which is my favorite, and I wanted to talk about inking. I am almost at a right angle like this. If you kind of do this, then you can end up with marks like that. And even if you end up with something like that, then what I do is I blend it like that so that it doesn't look so stamped. And so anyway, when you have a lot of ink on your pad, I would finish doing the sides before you try to blend it, because you can see where the ink is still on the circle, and that's because it's a lot of ink on here. So use up all that ink like that. All right, so that's that with the file folders. Let's see. Oh, and I also, this is my tallest one, like the plain ones. If you can't find this, digital print, you can just use the manila paper, which is what I did here, and create your file folders. And I inked it. So you have your tallest one, okay? And once you determine what your tallest one is, you take your next one. And kind of decide where you want it, and then you fold over the edge. And then same thing. And then once you've folded them over, you can cut them down so you can end up getting an extra piece, which is what this one became, an extra piece from cutting the other one. And so it became the 5th one out of there, like that. All right, and so then these will be glued on top of each other, placed in there, and then they'll fold down so they open up to for your project. At least that's the way I put them in here. All right, now the next thing I want to show you is the reinforcement. This is the reinforcement for a photo slot or pocket slot, and how since I'm gonna need 40 of them for all the journals that I'm making, so I decided I needed to do it in an assembly line fashion. And so I'm going to show you how I did that, and we'll get 16 out of this one piece of paper here with these measurements. My measurements are based on a photo being 4 inches on the short side, and I want the photo to be able to fit through here. So my slit is 4 1/4, and so my piece is a 5 1/4. So on a regular 8 1/2 by 11, you're going to cut it down to 8 by 10, so that you can get rid of the excess at the beginning. And what I did on the long width, I'm going to end up cutting this in half, but might as well leave it together while I do my slits and everything. So on the long width, I measure my 5 1/4 here, which is going to be the center of the paper, and then I put a 1/2 inch hash mark here, 1/2 inch from the edge here, here, and here. And the reason I did that is because when I do my cuts, I'm just using this as a ruler right now to draw the line. So I'm using it like a T-square. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark that off, because when I cut this, I want to stop my blade at this pencil mark that I'm making. Come over here to this one. This one. I'm lining up my little mark on the edge of here, because that's the one I'm using as my ruler. All right, so now I have those. Okay, on the short side, I'm marked off 1/2 inch intervals here. Now, when I cut it, I'm going to cut it on the second one, okay? But when I do my slits, I'm doing my slits on the odd number one. The first time I did this, I made them on different lines to kind of separate them so I wouldn't forget, but I figure I'm going to try it. So, first thing I did, this is my cut mark, because this is going to be my one piece. This is going to be my one piece. So the slit is this mark right here. And again, this little blade will stop right. This is where it's going to stop. So I'm going to get as close to that drawn pencil line as I can without going over it. If I do go over it, it's okay. I'm going to pick up my blade, come up behind this line, and then I'm going to skip this one, because I could just go ahead and cut it off, huh? Yeah, we could just go ahead and cut this one off. No need to keep it there. All right, so there's 2. I'll cut that in half. All right, go to my 1/2 inch mark to do my slits. Go to the pencil line, come to the next pencil line, pick it up, all right, then can cut it all the way through on this one. All right, so once you've done the whole page of that, you're going to end up with 16 of these. Put this back over here, use this to measure off 5 1/4 and cut it in half. So I got that. So we'll do that. And once I have my first stack that I did, the next step is to round the corners with the large corner thing. I keep going back and forth on things, but it's art. You can change your mind anytime, right? Anyway, so I'm using the large one, not the small one. And so I'm going to do each corner. You can do it on the table if you're on a nice firm surface, or hold it. After you have all that done, punching them, I left my pencil marks because this is an inexpensive punch. It is a 1/8 punch, so it's not the one that you get in the school supply. I think that's a 1/8 hole. So I did get it from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something like that. But at any rate, I am going to use my pencil mark and my slit to punch this hole. And the reason I'm punching the hole at all is because once it's on my paper, once it's on the paper that I'm going to create the pocket on, then I'll use the edge of the circles of the punches to thicken this slit into a bigger hole for the pocket. So with that being said, I just kept messing up on the punch with it without that line, but now I have this as a guide mark and this as a guide mark. So I should be able to line up right there, and that hole be right where I want it, or just about where I want it, you know. Again, it's art. We're not trying to, it's a handmade journal. And so I did all that, and again, that's for this. So you won't make it thicker until you're actually on your paper, because you want to cut your paper too. So that's why I was talking about that. All right, so that's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.